Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business. It's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and co host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. It is time for Tech Diva Weekly. So we are excited about that. We always look forward to talking to you on Friday because this is the day where we sort of play around in this what friends calls the sandbox with things that involve tech. Um, so sit back, relax. We're going to talk tech in English. Okay. Yes, indeedy. Now, if you haven't been watching lately, you know that we've been talking about different areas. We're talking about strategies for promoting your business. TJ will be in here from New York City to talk about digital marketing and to bring us up to date what's going on around the world of social media. Dr. Tachi will be here. She's going to be talking to us all about different things going on in media from Mediascope. We look forward to that. She's coming to us from Florida. And then we have our own Miss Francine Gregory here in Sacramento, California, talking to us about all things tech. So let's get this party started. We want to give a shout out to everybody listening in Clubhouse. To those of you who will be watching on the replay, we say welcome, welcome, welcome. And to those of you watching live, we hope you'll join the conversation. How you doing this morning, Fran?
I am doing very well, Terry. And you?
All is well. All is well. Well, can you tell us a little bit about this week in tech history?
Yes, I can tell you a little bit about this week in tech history. So I'm going to start out with a story from August 29th, 1831. Yes, I said 1831. English scientist Michael Faraday discovers electromagnetic induction.
Mm.
Electromagnetic induction is a primary principle behind electric motors and electric generators, two
Oh,
very important inventions that power and drive our electronic technology of today. Electromagnetic induction. It was discovered August 29th, 1831 by Michael Faraday.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, Michael. Thank you so much.
Right, because and he was British too.
Hmm.
English, yes, English, British, yeah. And see, the thing about that too is a lot of people don't want you to play with stuff. Everything would have should have been status quo, but he's messing around with stuff, and they probably thought he was crazy.
Okay.
Mm. First building block of the internet, August 30th, 1969, the first interface message processor, IMP, is delivered to Leonard Kleinrock's research group at UCLA. The IMP was the device that would interconnect networks between research facilities on the developing ARPANET, the
Hmm.
precursor to the internet. As a packet switching device, the IMP can be considered the first generation of what we now call network routers. The second IMP was delivered to the Stanford Research Institute on October 1st, 1969, and the first message between the two IMPs was sent on October 29th, 1969, which is now considered the first message ever sent on the internet.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It really is, isn't it?
Hmm. I'm going to go first flyby of Saturn occurred September 1st, 1977. Pioneer 11 becomes the first man made object to fly by Saturn. The first search engine, because we all use the search engines, right? September 2nd, 1993, the first primitive web search engine is started. It was known as W3 Catalog, or the CUI WWW Catalog. It was started by Oscar Neerstrass at the Centre Université d'Informatique of the University of Geneva. This search site lasted for about 3 years before more modernized search engines began appearing. September 2nd, 1993. That does not seem that far long ago. So Google came out after that and took over.
Time sensitive here. Mark says, that's how I prefer to think of myself. I'll be more appreciated after I'm gone. No.
We appreciate you now, Mark.
We are truly, truly appreciated right now.
Yes. And we want to say hi to everybody coming in over on the Clubhouse. Appreciate you. Dr. Tachi's over there.
Thank you, darling.
Hey.
In
the last story, eBay was founded September 3rd, 1995. The online auction site eBay is launched as Auction Web by Pierre Omidyar. Omidyar.
Okay.
The first item sold was a broken laser pointer. Wasn't actually intended to sell, but rather to test the new site. Itself started as a hobby. Surprised that the item sold for $14.83, Omidyar contacted the buyer to make sure he knew the laser pointer was broken, to which was replied, "I'm a collector of broken laser pointers."
Who knew?
There's somebody who's going to buy something. From that first $14.83, Omidyar is now worth billions of dollars.
Wow. Do not despise small beginnings. Oh my goodness.
And it started out as a hobby to sell stuff.
I'm just saying. Wow.
And that's your week in tech history. I was like, really? Okay. I'm not a fan of eBay, but it works.
Week in tech history. Okay, so I'm looking for.
Okay, so what you got going, Terry? Because I know you done scrubbed up something over there for us to talk about.
Yeah, you know I have. I want to talk about the fact that China is cracking down on children actually engaging in video games. So I did.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they're reducing the time that they can play. And so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can find this one. Okay. So can you guys see that picture of the kids playing there?
Yes.
Okay, so let me give you a little background of what's going on here. They're being reduced to 3 hours a week. And the caption here says 3 hours a week. Imagine the outrage of young British or American online gamers were told as children in China have been that this was the maximum time they could spend on their pastime. Not 3 hours a day, 3 hours a week. That's all. That's how long.
Yeah, the pitchforks and the fire would be out.
I mean, parents would be outraged because it's a form almost of babysitting for them. You know, remember when they used to sit us down in front of the TV? Now children are sitting in front of their laptops, TVs, whatever kind of monitor they're using, phones, to play these video games. So the way that they are going to regulate this is that they are making the game developers monitor themselves and require that everyone do facial recognition so that they can, in fact, monitor when they're on the game for an extensive period of time after a certain hour if you have not scanned your face to prove that you're an adult. Because, you know, kids, they're going to get on.
Can I interrupt for a second? The game systems, they already have a thing to set up. If you're a parent, you can monitor your child's usage of. I know it's on the PlayStation because we have one, and it tells, and I can lock it. Like I can lock certain days and time. It tells me how long she's been on it, and then I say get off of it. So tools are there to stop your kids from being on something all day.
But this is the government. The government says you can only be on there 3 hours a week, and the parents and the gamers will be held accountable.
Right, but I'm saying you were saying about they want the game developers to put something in there. It's already on the system. It's already there. I know PlayStation has it.
Yep. So now
they have the app
required specifically in China that I guess if you haven't used it, you're going to have to use it to regulate.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is you can do this now. Don't wait for the government to,
But it's voluntary, right? Am I correct here?
Yeah, now it's voluntary, but apparently, according to this
China, it is not
voluntary.
Okay.
In China, soon it will be mandatory.
Oh, it is mandatory now. That's what Terry is saying. This is now mandatory.
Okay.
They are requiring that that you scan.
That just seems so wrong.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think this? if the government required us to do this in the United States, I mean, I can't even imagine.
You thought the insurrection at the White House was bad.
Was a turnout. Can you imagine?
Yeah, okay, because that just would not.
Kids would be in the street. They might even boycott school.
It wouldn't be the kids. It'd be the parents in the street.
The parents too.
Well, the thing is not that it sits well with people in China either. They've just come to expect that that's what the government is going to do. And so there probably won't be very much up, or there'll be, but not very much.
Right.
But,
yes.
Here, because we've gotten used to the system of government, whatever you want to call it, we have, when the government tries to intervene in such things, they, people tend to get up in arms. Like how the government is intervening in, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
They should not. Something that happened recently yesterday. So people obviously get up in arms about it, but that's because we've come to expect that there is a, quote, kind of freedom of government. Again, all of this is rhetoric in terms of that. Whatever you want to say, we've come to expect the system of government we have, and so those types of things don't sit well in a, quote, democratic society.
Well, Mark says people can't even wear a mask here.
Right. We can't even get people to agree on that.
Can't get consensus over health issues. Yeah, so I'm with you, Taji. It's going to be a real interesting.
Well, that's why this is it China only? So this is China.
Yes. We're just talking about China. We're not talking about the U.S.
The land of you can only have, what was it, 2 kids?
Right.
And I think they're expanding it to 3 now. But see, so those are the kind of rules and laws and things that society is doing. And we're doing something different here.
Okay.
Remember, it was like 1 child.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're increasing it.
Okay. It was overpopulation, but they're increasing it now because they're also the largest economy in the world. If you don't have anybody to work in that economy because you've limited everybody to half a child, you got to start to rethink
half a child.
Way of being. And let me say, hey, Wabiri, she's down there in the audience. Hey, Wabiri.
Hi, Wabiri.
Arish, how are you?
Thank you all for being here in the clubhouse. Yeah, see, what is it? You can if you want to do this, you're going to need to. You got to have people to do stuff like Dr. Tachi just said. But if you tell us you can only have 1 child, there's not going to be no people left in the country.
Well, I can remember doing a report on overpopulation many moons ago when I was in grade school, and it said that by now there would be 7-point-some-odd billion people just in China alone. So the fact that they took those measures are significant to the size of the population of the world right now.
Mhm. Yeah, and I remember reading it came out May 31st. China's going to 3 children policy. They're going up to 3. So it's like Dr. Tati said, they have a society over there where we're like, wait a minute, we need workers and we need people, but you're limiting the amount of people that can be paid with this one child, 2 child, now is 3. So they see the error of their ways, I guess. But okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with the how you doing, Beverly? With the implementation of bots and everything else, I don't know. Here's
Well, see, the bots can't work for us. I'm just saying.
so Beverly says, watch coded bias. It sheds like a lot of the practices there.
Oh,
But here's the story that I want to talk about. I have one more story, and then I'm gonna cut y'all loose. And it's about kids also. It's about the fact that roadblocks, what
I know it.
it was 1/3. Now it's 2/3 of children in the US play Roblox.
Yep.
And it's geared toward children, young children. My granddaughter started playing it when she was like 6. She's gonna be 8 this year. She's a big girl. Okay. But anyway, and so here's what they are implementing. They are implementing a voice chat on this Roblox. And so there's the concern that now we won't know who they're talking to, et cetera, the usual things. But because it's geared to such a young age group, my question to you is, what do you think about the implementation of the ability to talk to other gamers at the age of 6 and up?
I wouldn't turn it on.
You know what I'm saying?
and like TJ said, the parents have the control, and the control, there should be some parental controls built into Roblox, and then so you just don't
allow it.
Listen, Roblox is like the wild wild west of online gaming for kids. There's no overlord looking at, because I've seen my daughter play it. She doesn't play anymore, but I've seen her play it where you go in and you create worlds and different things, and it was fun and everything. But there are people that are in there saying things.
There are people that are in everything,
right, everywhere. But it's just like Roblox. It's like there's nobody to say, hey, you're not an adult, or hey, don't say this.
There's no regulation.
Yeah. So add voice on top of that.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And you think you're talking to your friend, but you're not. And you think your friend that you made in another state or country or whatever.
You don't know. This is what I told my daughter. You don't know who that person is, even though they may present themselves as another child and talk like a child and say this and that. You don't know if that's an 80-year-old man in Russia or something. You don't know that. So you have to, unfortunately or fortunately or whatever, you have to tell your kid, everybody online is not your friend, even though they presented that. Also, as a parent, you sit there and look. And I come in, I'm like, what you doing? And I'm
pretty sure that you can restrict who they can talk to.
Yes.
Like when I go in there, she's only allowed, only people I see her playing with are her siblings.
Right. Because you can set it up to where it's a private game on a private area, a server or whatever it's called. But if you play on the public ones, it's free for all.
And and then you don't know who's on there with them, because I'm sitting there with her, sometimes watching her play Roblox. So I'm concerned about this voice chat implementation. So here's some of the things they say about it. Right now, it's only going to be accessible to 5,000 developers.
Okay.
And all of them will be 13 or over, which makes sense since they can voice chat anyway over there on other games. And they also said they want to, it says, I think we want to take it slowly and we want to learn as we go through it. So now they're learning on the job with our kids. We may start, as I mentioned, with the developers. It is likely that right after that, we may go to an audience that is 13 plus and park there for a while. You hear that? A while, until we understand exactly if all pieces are falling into place before deciding if we ever open it to younger audiences. So now you're threatening me to.
Okay, so here's the thing. Why don't they just take a cue from YouTube? Why do you need to go through all of that? And YouTube has set a standard, and every platform will not allow kids under 13 to do certain things. There's
Right.
YouTube Kids. Okay, there's YouTube Kids for a reason.
Right.
To keep out people. It's a barrier to help, because some people can still be stupid, but it's a barrier to help the kids stay kids. And so YouTube has taken on
Right. And
that
YouTube had to do that because of the new the COPPA law. I forgot what it stands for, but that's why they did that.
And so why can't they follow the COPPA law too?
Yeah.
It is like, okay, so what, you gonna let it string out a long time before you actually say we're not gonna, you shouldn't be serving up anything to kids under 13.
Right.
Well, check this out. There's also something going on with Roblox. It says over half of the US kids are playing Roblox, and it's about to host Fortnite-ish virtual parties too, where the kids can come to a site called Party Place.
No.
And join the online party.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
So there's a lot going on here in the gaming world that we need to be privy to, in terms of our children.
Yeah, we do. I agree.
Future generations. Just keep your eyes open and ask questions.
Yeah, you have to ask questions. You have to look over their shoulder and see what they're doing.
When they have the headsets on, who are you talking to? Who are you listening to? What are they?
I've seen people online, parents like, oh, I can't do that. You're paying for the device. You're paying for the internet.
How'd they get it?
Doggone right. I'm like, you didn't pay for this.
Okay.
I say that all that.
My allowance.
Like your room.
All of this can go away. All of this can go away.
But Mom, I bought it with my allowance. And where
did you buy? Okay, so the internet bill is whatever a month. What's your piece of it? What's your piece of the bill? Did you chip in?
So you need to unhook that device from my internet. And
my mom used to tell, this is my house.
That's right. This is my world.
I remember.
I bought the food. I paid the electric bill.
This isn't even a discussion, is it, ladies?
Dr. Tachi's got a.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Dr. Tachi.
This is the thing. I think that as generations.
Oh, I can't hear.
I can turn her up.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as generations go on, this becomes more and more of a thing of claiming your rights when you have none in the house, because we would never. I just sit here and think I would never try and negotiate this type of thing with my mom. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if there
was not a discussion.
There was no discussion, and you not to even say anything. Why would you even open your mouth to say that? But again, because
or look at me in that tone of voice.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has this Jaimon Hunsu from Amistad give us free attitude. To whatever the hell.
Give us free. Give us free.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's the way they behave. I would have never questioned.
Not if you wanted your tea.
Right, because see, we didn't have all of these great devices they had. We had cardboard, whatever. But I'm just saying that they have all of these things, so you have, as a parent, you have to monitor it, because one, you're paying for it, and two, you have to make sure that they're using it responsibly and teach them how, because they shouldn't just not use it. But then, who sets the tone? Who you know?
I can remember a friend of ours. His son was not obeying or following instruction. So his dad walked in there, unplugged his Xbox at the time, threw it in the pond. I was like, Dad.
Wow.
Like, hey, it's not that serious.
Yeah, that's a level of frustration there, boy. I mean, I can see unplugging it and putting it away, but
You
No,
threw that thing in the pond.
because you're just not paying attention. You know what I mean to the instructions. You're not
right.
You're not. Here you go. You're out of compliance.
You're
people.
not
Okay,
compliant.
apparently you didn't hear me. So here's this. Bloop, 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 bloop.
And
And it's all about setting them up for the real world, because when they become adults and get a job, if they don't go to work and comply, what will happen?
there are consequences.
Yes.
Mark says when I was growing up, there was a discussion, but I was the only one having it. That's right.
Exactly, Mark. Exactly.
Like, no.
So-
See, my house, there was no discussion. There was a discussion, but it wasn't me. It was,
or it was in your mind.
no, it was in my mind, but my lips were sealed.
I think that's what Mark means. He was having it,
It was not a vocal discussion. It was up here, like, okay. And then now, when you become adult, you see the other side of it, like, oh, okay, I see what the fuss was about. Because you can't leave all these lights on and you go in the refrigerator and you look in the I'm like, what are you doing? Are you taking a tour? Like that every time you open it up. Or the TV is on. Why is the TV on and nobody looking at it? I gotta pay for that. So I'm just saying, I'm on the other side, so I see it now. I'm like, oh, now I see why my mom was fussing about this, that, and the other.
I'm just saying. So ladies, I leave you with that.
Always starting stuff.
It's all about the kids today.
She always starting stuff. No, it's good. It's good to know. It's good to have a discussion about it.
You need to be aware.
Yes, you do. You do. I agree.
Oh, okay. Well, we are ready for strategies now.
Okay, TJ is up with this week in social media.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So this week in social media, let's
Oh, here
get
we
down
go.
to it. Let me cue up my
Oh my Lord.
notes one and one. All right, and a part one of the stories is we're gonna go back to the child age discussion,
Okay.
because there's one app that is doing some things for that.
Oh,
All right, so I'm going to start out with, don't talk about WhatsApp a lot, but I'm going to bring this up because this is a story we need to know about, or it's tied in a little bit. Has to do with Facebook. So it's WhatsApp. They have a $267 million EU fine over Facebook data sharing transparency. It has to do with the GDPR. Remember that we talked about?
Yes.
It's been 2 years, maybe more.
Mhm.
It's the General Data Protection Regulation, transparency obligations that the EU set up these rules that when you collect data from the users that visit your site or send them email, whatever, you have to be transparent. Well, WhatsApp is getting a fine from the Irish Data Protection Commission because they are breaking that GDPR. So they're saying this is what WhatsApp did. WhatsApp was storing pseudonym phone number data rather than truly anonymizing it. That's the word. I've never seen that word. Anonymizing it. While the numbers were stored using like hashes, like they don't show the data in a database. It's just hashtags. So you don't really see the data. They're saying WhatsApp had the hash key needed to decrypt that info, and it could tie that number to a specific person if it wanted. So that was a break of the GDPR rules, because you're not there's a certain level that they have over in EU that the data is supposed to be stored a certain way, and who has access to it, and transparency and all that. So this is the deal that the agency initially planned to fine WhatsApp 50 million euros, which is 59.3 million, for breaking the GDPR, but they hiked the punishment after Germany and other countries accused the commission of being lenient on them. So it went up.
They said, hey, you ain't charging enough.
They're not feeling us. They're not feeling you.
Right. So WhatsApp is saying, oh, we're going to appeal this decision. because they're saying, well, we met the transparency rules of 2018 and that the fines were entirely disproportionate. And they said that they offer transparent and comprehensive information to users. So there you go. Facebook is getting a slap, which is not this to Facebook, this world. This is not a big fine, but it is a big fine.
You know what, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the point. Excuse me. When you put off paying the fine, you're able to accumulate enough interest on that money to pay the fine. It's like whatever, people.
Right. So that's what's going on with WhatsApp, and so we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so let's go to another one we rarely talk about: LinkedIn. LinkedIn Stories is gone or going. They're shutting down LinkedIn Stories.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't get surprised.
Look, I never even put up a story in LinkedIn. So
you're not alone, friend. It seems like nobody was using stories. Now, when I looked at my LinkedIn and my stories, there were people that were doing it. And I did a couple of them because I was excited. I said, oh, LinkedIn Stories, this is going to be great. But the functionality of it on LinkedIn is not fun. There's hardly any stickers or tools or fun things to put on. And again, LinkedIn isn't a fun place anyway. So they're getting rid of it. It's been a year. So they're saying that they're going to shut down the feature by the end of September, a year. So it's a year after it rolled out. So it's been a year. So LinkedIn said they discovered that users want videos that stay on their profiles permanently and not ones that vanish. Because stories, they disappear after 24 hours. It's ephemeral content. It's not supposed to last. And people, and there's still a discussion. How many years later? Because I was trying to find out when Snapchat stories came out, because that's where stories feature come from Snapchat. Instagram stole it. I forgot what year. I was trying to find it. I didn't have time. But people are not understanding what the story is about. Why is stories there? What do you use it for? But there's a myriad of usage. But it didn't fit LinkedIn, is my opinion. It didn't fit LinkedIn's culture of we're business and we don't, because I've been on LinkedIn for a while and I started using it more. I see people post stuff about this, don't post this kind of stuff over here. This is not Facebook. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's social media. You can post what you want. So I do see that camp. And then I see the other camp of people saying, this is LinkedIn. We're going to post stuff, personal stuff. So there's like a back and forth where people are like, this is strictly business. I'm here for a job, versus people are like, this is social media. I'm going to post business stuff and I post personal stuff, which I agree with that camp. Like, it's social media. As long as you're not oversharing, and your followers will tell you, you can do what you want. It's your account. So this is on LinkedIn.
It was October 2013. Snapchat made a significant update to the platform.
Okay. So, what year?
October 2013.
Oh, 2013. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what's going on. They're getting rid of it. They're going to shift to short form, rich, interactive video format, whatever that is to come.
Well, we don't have we can't do live. We can put up video. We just couldn't do live. I was like, okay.
Right. I don't know what's going on with that, because speaking of the LinkedIn Live, they're going to use that and tie it in with their events feature. There was a story about that. I didn't really pay attention. What's that?
Dr. Tasha gasped like
about the LinkedIn Live or the event?
The LinkedIn Live.
So this is my thought, and I haven't really investigated a lot, but because LinkedIn, they're live, they want it now. There's a story they want to connect it to having events on the platform. They're getting rid of stories. I think they're going to try to do what Twitter is doing. Remember, Twitter is pivoting towards paid events and paid things where you pay people for spaces, and so LinkedIn might be doing that.
Don't you have to have some type of activity on LinkedIn before you can ask people to pay for it?
True. True.
Thank you.
Like, okay.
Well, maybe they'll be doing workshops and stuff over
there. Right. That's what I was just about to say. Think corporate events, corporate summits, virtual summits. Remember, there was like a few months ago, we were like, hey, everybody's going back to in-person events, and now they had to shut that down. So a lot of events are like, we're not going to be live until next year. So LinkedIn might be
fairs.
Yeah, so LinkedIn might be doing this for corporations and large enterprises where they can do this, use it as a summit feature.
And once they shift to that, I doubt they'll want to pay to come in,
because they're already doing training. Like there's LinkedIn training where there's video training on different topics and stuff, and corporations are using that for their employees, like an internal thing. Okay. So that might be what they're doing with the video and LinkedIn Live and stuff. So that's just a thought. I don't know what LinkedIn is doing. I don't think they know what they're doing.
I don't really use my LinkedIn account. I just went over there and got my real estate.
Well, okay, see, let's talk about LinkedIn. We got a few minutes. So LinkedIn is this is my philosophy. I always say this, that social media is an attention tool. It's attention. It's the first step. It's attention. So LinkedIn is emerging as this new kind of Facebook, where Facebook years ago was like, you could just get attention by posting. And what I mean is that people would post, and then you would get conversations and engagement, and then you're supposed to take that and use it to grow your business, not just like likes and followers. So LinkedIn is like that, where it's like new ground, new territory. So if you wanted to, okay, I need to start breaking out and getting more attention, and it's hard. People are complaining about Instagram is too hard. Facebook wants you to run ads. So LinkedIn is like the place where organically now you might be able to get a traction, a foothold, but based on your industry, that you might see better engagement within your industry. Like if it's a more popular one versus the one that's not so, well known over there. So that's how I feel about it. But start looking at LinkedIn and use it a little bit. You don't have to spend all your time over there. And like Dr. Taji said, the LinkedIn Live thing is, they're not rolling it out. How long has it been since we applied?
Right. So Mark says, I have lots of blog subscribers from LinkedIn, more readers than from any other platform, but the least amount of interaction.
Yes, I agree with that. There's little interaction unless you say something inflammatory. And then, like I said, you get people up. Oh, this is the Facebook. Take that over. It's like they're sleeping, and then when you say something like, okay, then they wake up and they're angry. Otherwise, they're sleeping. But he's right. That's exactly a good example of LinkedIn. See, he's getting a lot of interaction from written stuff, from written pieces. And that's a good place to put blog articles. If you write and Mark Schaefer does this, the marketing expert that I follow. He does his blog posts, and then it's over on LinkedIn too. So he gets a lot of traction because people will read it there, because they might not go to his blog, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's where you get the traction with written word. Now they're trying to translate it into video. They're trying to get that short form video wave, and they started it with stories, and they're seeing it's not catching because a lot of people don't understand the use of stories. That's why. That's a part of it.
Right.
All right. See the comments.
Okay. So Beverly Campbell says, I forgot what year I applied for a job. The app asked for social media sites. LOL. Employers and people in general do FBI searches anyway. If you're the one, you're the one as far as an employee. Fairly personal info.
I mean, so in the case of LinkedIn, like I said, people are sharing more personal stuff. But again, if you're there for jobs that you may not want to overshare a lot of stuff, because you're potentially there for a job. Where I follow a lot of freelancers and copywriters and entrepreneurs where they're in business for themselves. Right. So they're like, well, I'm the employer and the employee. So I can pretty much put my opinion out without having a repercussion of I work for Pepsi or I work for this and I said something inflammatory. So there's two worlds over there in LinkedIn. The world that I'm talking about, where there's more personal sharing and more people connecting with personal stuff, is emerging versus the I'm there for the job opportunity only. and I'm not going. And you shouldn't be sharing personal stuff. So that's just a little bit of LinkedIn that I see.
Well, this is because we don't actually ever get any activity from LinkedIn.
Right. And it's very hard. I'm gonna tell you it's hard. I put a post out, was it last week or a week ago or something about OnlyFans? LinkedIn news picked it up and put it on their page, and I got like 11,000 hits off of it. And people were coming over and saying all kind of stuff, and I was responding. I said, listen, I'm not here to talk about the porn side of it or the adult content side. I'm talking about the business side of it. So it got engagement. Like I said, that proves to me that when you say something they think inflammatory, right? Inflammatory or not. And my post wasn't inflammatory. It was just like, look, this is my opinion. This is how I see it. And then people were like, well, you're this, you're that, this. And they can't do it. So it got a conversation going. But my other posts are like crickets. So that's what I'm saying. If you can write something that you're giving your opinion and throw it to the wind, right? But not overly, but not something where you're in the wrong or you're a troll. You get engagement. So I wrote that. I think it was last week. Whenever the OnlyFans thing came out, because I was really upset. I'm not upset. It was just like I was just like, listen, I'm tired of you whining.
We're talking business. Let's talk business. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, listen, I'm tired of you whining. You built a community. That's the hard part. You can pack them up and take them anywhere you want to go. You're lazy. You're being lazy. And then someone was like, oh, it's not so easy because, you can't be a YouTube. I said, listen, I did a simple Google search, 3 seconds Google search, and I found a person online that talks about how to set up these type of sites where you get the money and OnlyFans doesn't get their cut. You only pay the payment processor. They take their cut, was it 2%, 3%, or whatever it is. So you cut out OnlyFans and Patreon too. This works for them. So you cut them out by setting up your own site. And it's there. The information is, I did a simple Google how to, and it popped up. And I was like, I got all the steps that I need to set up my own OnlyFans where I own it. Because I got the people. They're going to come with me because they're following me for me on that particular site. Same thing with Patreon. If you got somebody over there, a bunch of people paying you, you can take them off of Patreon. They're just going there because of you. So take them to the house that you own. And this is the end of my TED Talk.
I love it.
So we were talking about LinkedIn stories and we got into LinkedIn because I'm like, it's fascinating over there. It's my opinion. All right, so anything about LinkedIn stories? We're just saying bye and who cares? Hasta la vista. Don't come back.
Look, you got to do the regular stories on the other platforms before you can even try getting over there. You got to know how to do why.
I didn't even look at the LinkedIn stories, and I was the most excited last year when they said, "Ooh, LinkedIn stories." I was like, "Wow!" But the experience of using that feature, it was blah. Like LinkedIn is blah, unless you're following the right people, and that takes some time.
Right.
LinkedIn is just they have squandered their opportunity. There is so much they could have done. I mean, let's talk about even the individuals that are on there. There's some great people, but there are a lot of people that are like that don't use good social media etiquette. I'm going to inbox to say, hey, I think there's a way we could work together. Which have you said hi to me before ever? And you're trying to pop into my so that's one thing. And on top of it, when you read some of these comments that some of these individuals are placing underneath, like the articles, just some of them are so uninformed and just crude. And I'm like, you all are the bottom of the barrel. So even though you think this is a highfalutin business thing, you really see that these are some of them are not people you would ever want to work with.
Agreed. I agree. And Dr. Tatcha is right about you get unsolicited, hey, I'm selling. I was like, I just ignore, either I block or delete or ignore. I don't even respond to them because they're just popping in your inbox trying to say, hey, I sell this whatever platform, and you could make 6 figures. I'm like, you're like Dr. Tati said, you don't know that. I don't know you. Why are you in my inbox?
How you know I don't already make 6 figures?
And this happens to this even happens to like I said, I remember, I think Mark Schaefer posted something about it, about people just popping in his inbox and selling stuff, not saying, hi, how are you? Let's, I don't know you.
Okay.
Hi,
we talked about writing a social media etiquette book. I think we need to put that back on the table.
It's needed.
Let's get it done.
It's needed. And like I said, I wrote that post and people were coming in and saying things, and they were just like, I'm like, you didn't even read what I said. You're coming in saying what you're saying because you're incensed, or you're, and specifically about the adult content part. I was like, I don't care what the content is. I'm talking about the structure. But they ignored it and saying, oh, and then somebody said some craziness. I just deleted it all. It's like delete. Because this is my account. I'm not here for that. I'm here for a intelligent discussion. Like Dr. Tati said, there's not a lot of that over there.
Wait, but LinkedIn is supposed to be where the intelligent ones hang out, right?
Supposed to be. But see, here's the key. Like I said, I discovered, and this is just from me using it, is who you follow, the people that you follow. So you have to be careful who you accept or who you follow. And because you see their posts, and I'm like, this is nonsense. Unfollow, unhook, and I don't see him anymore. But it's all about, the people that you're, following. So it takes some time to discover that.
Dr. Chachi, what did you? She was weighing in.
Go ahead.
If LinkedIn is the bastion of the intelligentsia, then this world is doomed.
Woo!
Okay.
All right.
Let's enough of LinkedIn. That's enough LinkedIn love for the week. Let's move on to Twitter. So Twitter's been active this week. They're rolling out ticketed spaces. And wait a minute. I had some visuals all queued up. And I'm like, all right, let me see here. Now, no, that one doesn't match. All right, let me go back. I'm not going to show the visuals yet. Let me go back to these stories. So they're rolling out ticketed spaces, but only for some people in iOS. So it's ticketed spaces is that feature that allows you to charge access for your space. So remember, I don't know if you remember, we talked a few months ago that Twitter was rolling out all these tools for a paid section where, followers can pay you for extra VIP content, or they if you have a special Twitter space and it's VIP access only or whatever. So they're putting these tools in where you can gate it and people have to pay, and then they get into the ticketed space. So they were taking applications for this ticketed space in June, and they turned it on for the people that were approved. And then remember, it's iOS only, so it's not desktop and it's not Android. So they're rolling this limited. They're rolling this out limited to some people. So
if you have the followers to make that a thing, then I guess it would work for you.
Now, remember, the ticket to spaces, you have to have 600 followers.
Oh.
Now, I think you're talking about the super follow. That's where you have to have like 10,000.
No, I'm just talking about the fact that they want for you to charge somebody to come in to my space to come and listen to whatever it is I'm having to say. Then I can charge you.
Right. So that's valid. So you have to say, well, do I have enough followers where they would pay to hear me speak, or if I brought in a guest,
right,
that this person you want to hear from, then you might buy the ticketed space because you want to hear from that special guest or what. And it has to be VIP special level. It can't just be ordinary conversation that you're having on Twitter.
Right. It would definitely need to be something special.
Right. So Twitter is saying that hosts can keep up to 97% of their first 50,000 in earnings and up to 80% on anything over 50,000. Hosts are also able to set their own prices for tickets and choose how many tickets to make available. So it's kind of like Eventbrite for a ticket for a Twitter space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So remember, they're doing all of these monetization features. They had the super follow. I believe super follow, you have to have 10, because I went through it. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Because when you go to your Twitter account, and you tap on it, it says, "Oh, you have to meet this requirement." I was like, "Well, I don't have 10,000. I don't have 10,000 followers." And then it tells you like how much you could make, your potential earnings. When you go to check eligibility for super, this is for super followers, not the spaces. It says you have to be 18, you have to have 20K followers, and you have to have 25 tweets in the past 30 days. All right,
Okay.
so that was the super followers, and now the ticketed spaces. When you go into it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I wanted to queue it up. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see it.
That okay, that's it. And then you scroll to the bottom, and then it says ready to get started. And then when I tap on it, check eligibility. Oh, I'm eligible for this ticketed space. So I'm gonna hit apply. Let me go
Because
back.
now you
So
can,
it says you have to be 18, 1K followers, host 3 spaces in the past 30 days. I didn't host any spaces.
okay, well, you got in through the cracks. Let's not tell them. And you have 1,000 followers apparently.
Yeah, I have it finally after so many whatever. Okay, I'll look at that later. I didn't look at the ticketed spaces. I just know that it was something they're rolling out. So remember, they got the tip jar. I got that turned on. Let me look at that. The tip jar. All of this is on your profile. You go to your profile, and it's under monetization. Under monetization.
Mm-hmm.
And then monetization options is ticketed spaces, super follows, and then there's another one, tip jar. I don't know where you turn that on, but I did turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to my profile, there's like a little icon. It looks like dollar bills, and you tap it, and it says send money via Cash App or send money via Venmo. So those are the 2 things I have set up on my profile. But that's what Twitter's doing. Twitter is trying to, give creators monetization items. And remember the paid newsletter, they bought Review, and now you can set up a newsletter connected to your Twitter account, and it could be free or paid. I haven't seen any paid ones. But again, the people I follow, they haven't set up anything. Okay, so that's the ticketed spaces. So it's like you holding a clubhouse and you have an Eventbrite connected before they can come in the door.
Right.
They have to pay.
And again, it needs to be, it has to be an event or something way out of the ordinary that people are going to want to come to.
Right. Now, if you got the kind of following where, I'm getting ready to do a Twitter space on whatever, and they pay just to hear you speak, then hey, more power to you.
I can see someone like Gary Vee doing this, and all the proceeds are going to be donated to blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Or even if he didn't donate the proceeds, people would probably still come in and pay. But it could be, I would use it as a fundraiser. Yeah,
that's a good idea to use it too. So if you've got, the Twitter following, like we said, try these tools out. All right. Another thing Twitter's doing, they're turning on something called they're testing it. It's not turning on. They're testing safety mode. It's a new account setting that automatically blocks accounts using potentially harmful language. So they're going to allow you to block accounts that are likely to be the source of harassment for a period of 7 days. So the system is designed that accounts of people or frequently interact with won't be blocked. So if it's someone you follow and you guys have a conversation, you're always, tweeting at each other, and then you turn on the safety mode, it's not going to block them. It's going to block people that are new or don't follow you, or they don't interact with you. So Twitter's trying to say they can tell the difference between a friend and a troll. Now, this is what they're saying. They're saying safety mode is a feature that temporarily blocks accounts for 7 days using potentially harmful language, such as insults or hateful remarks, or sending repetitive and uninvited replies or mentions. When the feature is turned on, the system will assess the likelihood of a negative engagement by considering both the tweet's content and the relationship between the tweet author and the person replying. Okay, so here's another anti-harassment tool that Twitter is testing. It's not rolling out, it's testing. So they're not sure when this will be available, if at all, because it's a test.
So Mark has a comment. He says, you may pay to receive my in-depth insights, perceptions, and thoughts about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay. I mean, everybody's a critic. We want to hear from the critics, right? Sounds
All
like
right. Got jokes. Okay, so more Twitter stuff. Now this one I do have a screen share. And let me make sure I got the right one. Yep. Let's see here. Okay. Is it there? Yep. There it is. All right. So this is, and I just mentioned it, super follow subscriptions. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, I didn't know I had the super follow option. So Twitter has flipped on the super follows, the new subscription feature that allows creators to charge their followers for exclusive content. Now, this is different from the Twitter Spaces, the ticketed spaces, because that's audio content. They're saying this super follows is for creators that want to charge their followers for exclusive content, exclusive tweets. Like, these aren't public tweets. They're only going to go to a certain group. So if you can see here, when you create a tweet, there's an option. And let me see here, because I got to look at my bigger. There's an option for audience. Choose audience, everyone, or super follows. Super followers. So when there is a super follow tweet, you'll see way on the right, there's a purple pink looking section, and that's where you see the exclusive content. Once the person chooses super followers.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like.
so they have to declare themselves a super follower.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're making this feature available to a small group of creators. They're going to expand their lineup in the coming weeks. They've been taking applications for super followers since June. I don't remember applying, so maybe I did. I don't know. So they're saying you could set a monthly rate of $2.99, $4.99, or $9.99 in order to access subscriber-only tweets. Twitter's also going to eventually incorporate spaces into this area and the newsletters. So right now it's just tweets. And there was a couple of they put a couple of people, like 4 or 5 creators that were using this, so you could see the example. And I was gonna pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. So what do we think of this?
I guess I need to be using Twitter enough to do it.
Exactly. But I think that those people who are really active over there merit this kind of opportunity. People like Eileen and different people who, Bonnie Frank, people who are there and in that space providing, really good information.
Right.
Content online everywhere. Those folks deserve to be compensated for their
research.
Right.
And then, and that maybe the super followers get a more in-depth content than the people who
or priority to the information.
Right. So this is this is Makeup for WOC. If you want to follow on Twitter, this is one of the creators that they're saying that that has the feature. I don't see it on here. I do see it that she has a space. There's a Twitter space coming up. But this is so Makeup for WOC. I'm thinking that's woman of color. She's going to offer client level treatment for subscribers with skincare questions.
Okay.
There's 3 other content creators. I can't say. One person is providing exclusive behind the scenes stories. Another one is offering in-depth sports analysis. And then another one who's providing super followers with astrology, tarot, and intuitive healing advice and extra spiritual guidance. So those are some of the creators that they're, Twitter is saying, hey, go look at these people and see if, see how they're using it.
They're promoting their space.
So
Right.
you really have to have something worth saying. I know we keep talking about it, but and if somebody's gonna pay for it, it has to be something worth paying for.
Right. I
Either
agree.
in your eyes or theirs.
I agree.
What's the public want?
Agreed. All right, so more on Twitter. Twitter is building a feature to automatically archive the tweets. It's only in the concept stage, but it's for you to archive tweets that you don't delete, but you remove them from public view. If that makes any sense.
They move so fast by the time, you know what I mean? They go up so fast that it's like, okay.
Right. Because see, you can just delete a tweet, but now they're saying that you can archive a tweet. So this is Twitter's idea and get in their head. They're saying it's part of a broader social privacy push to give people more control over their identity on the platform. So here we go. I mean, let's see another test of why do I need to archive? I could delete, but maybe they have a point where they want to remove it from public view, but the creator of the tweet wants to keep it on their account for what reason, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe
I still want an edit button.
Right. And see, this archiving is because there are people that say, and this is again when you're having a conversation on Twitter and there's people that don't like what you said or whatever, they will go back and dig into your old tweets. Like they'll go back 3 years, 4 years, however long you've been on, and try to find a tweet to contradict what you said today.
But if
and then
it
gets a controversy started. Who did this? Chrissy Teigen?
Yeah,
she tweeted some stuff about one of the she was an underage actress at the time, but now she's overage. But then it came out, somebody went back and dug up all her tweets. Well, if they have this archive feature, she could have just archived them. I don't know why she kept them, but that's another whole story there.
Because by the time you think about going back to them, you know what I mean? You have to go back. You don't forgot that years ago, and then you think, okay, it's all under the rug. No,
right?
Somebody ripped up the carpet. And
think about this: we were talking about LinkedIn when you want to apply for a job. If you said something as a teenager, you might want to,
You might want to go in there and archive. We're telling you now, go archive your stuff
or delete it. But there are things you said, you're like, what did I say? And now, but who has the time to go back and dig in people's years old tweets from 2013 or
people
2000?
Telling you, if you are going
to do this,
because if you are if you're going into public office or if you're going for a particular job and people don't like you, somebody's going to go try and find some dirt.
You want to host
on you.
company? I mean, stuff happens.
It's like, people would not have that type of time to be doing all that, but some people are trolls, and that's what they do.
That's true. Some people that their life is trolling others. All right, so one or two more things about Twitter. So Twitter's going to speaking of the tip jar, Twitter's going to let you tip with Bitcoin. So I think I mentioned, I looked at my tip jar. It was Cash App and Venmo, and then they're going to add Bitcoin option to that. So Bitcoin is becoming this very popular currency where you can So you'll be able to send regular money to each other through the feature, but now they're going to add the Bitcoin option. Okay. And one more, Twitter's working on a feature that will enable users to create their own GIF or GIF, however you say it. Those little animated pieces of content. Yeah. So it'll come from the in-app camera. When you're in the app on the phone, the camera option in there, you'll be able to create your own GIF or GIF because those are popular on Twitter. Okay. All right, so that's it for Twitter. One or two things with Instagram, and then we're done. We'll let Tachi get in here. Instagram is going to require users to share their birthday. That was one of the things we were talking earlier about age and kids online. So you'll have to enter your birth date before using the app. This is for everybody, not just new accounts.
Okay, so it is not going to be. They won't show it to everybody else, but you have to enter it to get into the app.
Right. To use Twitter, they're going to do that. And let me show you. I have
to use Instagram, right?
Right. Let me show. I think is that no, that's the wrong one. Let me close that. Oh, there it is. Okay. Because I wanted to show you what's going to pop up on the screen when you go to Instagram and you're like, what is this? There we yeah, that's it. See, can you see that? Oh, not on screen. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll see on the left it says add your birthday. You add your birthday. There's another window in the middle. I'm not sure why there's two. Oh, I see. When you're scrolling. So there'll be one, I guess, when you go to the profile, and one when you're scrolling on Instagram. And then when you go in, you'll have to put it in. And then Instagram says if you don't put your birthday in, they're going to they won't block you right away, but they will block you from using the app. So they'll put up a prompt saying you need to put your birthday in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right screen? No, that's the wrong one.
I see it. It says add your birthday.
Is that it? I had two screens. Yep, that's the wrong one. Let me take it down. Sorry. There's too many Instagram screens up. And now that's the wrong one. That is the one for when you're scrolling. Let me put it back. I'll put it back. This is the one for when you're scrolling. See that gray? So everybody on Clubhouse, when you're in your Instagram feed, there'll be a grayish post that says hidden. We limit access to certain content based on age. So we've hidden this photo from people who may be too young to view it, and you have to confirm your age. The middle one is where you put your birthday in, and then the last one on the right is you get to see your feed. So they're Instagram is going to gate this kind of where you're going to scroll through and like you didn't put your birthday in, then we're gonna hide your feed until you put the birthday in. And they're gonna do that a couple of times, and then they're gonna block you from seeing anything in your feed. So they really want you to put your birthday in. Okay. Go ahead. So yeah. So also they're saying they have artificial intelligence to detect when a user may have provided a false birthday, and that some users may be asked to verify their age off of that AI saying, okay, we know your birthday isn't the right one, or you put a fake one in. How?
And you know why?
You
know why?
Why?
Because they have gathered our information somewhere else.
Yes.
You understand? And so they know who, if you have this name and this first name, last name should have this birthday.
Right. So here's their quote. In the future, if someone tells us they're above a certain age and our technology tells us otherwise, we'll show them a menu of options to verify their age. So that's what that screen was about. This work is still in the early stages, and we look forward to sharing more soon. So more is to come on this. Make sure you got your right birthday in there, or we'll touch your account down.
Maybe I don't want you knowing my... Interesting.
All right. So one more from Instagram. Instagram Live this week, September 1st, for 10 days. They're having 10 days of live shopping. So you go to Instagram and then you hit the shopping bag. Hold on, let me go to it. So you hit the shopping bag, and then there's at the top it says shops, drops, editor pick. There's like a scroll bar. You go all the way to the right where it says live, and they're going to have 10 days of shopping events hosted by your favorite creators and businesses. And they had a graphic for that. So let me bring it up. Okay. Just a sec. I got so many things open. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Let me close. There we go. It says Instagram. Duh. All right. So they made a little graphic. So it's 10 days of Instagram live shopping. Here we go. All right. There we go. So Instagram live shopping events. So they've got 9/1, 9/2, 9/3, 9/6, 9/8. 9/8, 9/9, 9/10, 9/10, 9/19. So they've got the creators there. So they've got the dates and the creators. The first one on September 1st was Rare Beauty, featured Selena Gomez. So they have creators and they have, celebrities. So you'll see one is for Peloton, Casey Musgraves, Dragon Beauty. So they're doing like fashion and beauty shopping. So they'll have the live, and when you go to your app and you hit that live tab under the shopping tab, you'll see it says upcoming live video, and then there's a remind me button so you won't miss it. So there's one going live September 4th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's is it nails? Yeah, Clutch Nails. And if you hit remind me, it'll send you a reminder. So when you tap it, it says Clutch Nails are giving away 10 bundles of our exclusive fall drop for free this Saturday on our live. Click the reminder so you don't miss it. And we're going to have a special guest popping in. So when you go to it, you can also shop this post. So they have their little bundle, this fall bundle, $24.99. And then there's a tab, little button that says Clutch Nails View Shop. And you go to the shop and you can buy from this creator or this shop or this business or brand. So that's Instagram live shopping. 10 days of shopping, they're calling this. Okay.
And I'm looking forward to, I'm sure, the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah. So no, you're right, Carolina.
As far as a promotion, it makes sense.
It's coming.
Yeah, it makes sense. And this is just a what they call a soft opening.
Yeah, this is a soft opening, and then there'll be some Black Friday stuff. There'll be Christmas shopping. So just make sure you look at that tab on Instagram. So it's the shopping bag tab on the bottom. When you're in Instagram, you just hit that little shopping bag, and then at the top, and I have to go back. At the top where it says shop, there's a search button, and then there's buttons that you can scroll. Because I don't know why they didn't put live first. Like they got shops, drops, editor picks. They should make live closer to the top. But you scroll over live, and then you get to see what's coming up. And if you want to buy something, you buy. There you go. So Instagram is doing this to promote their Instagram live shopping features. So they want to get things ready to go. And like Carolina said, Black Friday, Christmas shopping, they're going to push this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this is their soft opening. Good way to describe it. And that's your week in social media news.
Thank you. Dr. Tachi, are you ready?
I'm here.
All right. So what's happening in media?
Oh, there's a lot going on. Good day, everyone. I hope you're having a great Friday thus far. This Friday, I'm super excited. Even though I work in the house and I'm here Monday through Friday, there's just something about the weekend that is just so exciting. So happy Friday to everyone. Big news today. Happy Friday. The big news today, streaming TV app Locast has suspended their app operations after the court ruling. Now, are you all familiar with Locast?
Yes, I am.
I am not.
Okay.
Do
so
tell.
Locast is actually a streaming TV app that brings you local or local programming and local stations. So every station that it was in your area, if you had access to Locast in your area, you would be able to pick up the local channels without an antenna. It would be streaming. Now, the thing is, Locast is a nonprofit, or was a nonprofit, and they were actually, if you ever watch Locast, because I had it, and periodically, if you weren't paying $5 per month, because it's free, it's supposed to be, quote, free, but they would interrupt periodically to ask you for $5 per month as a donation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what low cast is. It was actually quite good because, you know, when you're going over the air with an antenna, you are at the whims of whatever the wind or the signal wants to do. So you have it in one place today, and then you're like, but it was working yesterday, and now you have to stand on one foot and hop while you are holding the antenna for it to work. So it was really nice that you had a streaming option to be able to get local channels.
Mhm.
And they even did things like, all right, well, for those, you can apply for a program for those who can't swing $5 a month. If you don't want to watch, you don't get preempted. You can apply for this program where you can get for a year, you can get it for free. So I think their delivery, their method of doing things was problematic. So here's the thing that they said: as a nonprofit, Lowcast was designed from the very beginning to operate in accordance with the strict letter of the law. But in response to the court's recent rulings, with we respectfully disagree, we are hereby suspending operations effective immediately. And they wrote this in an email message yesterday, and I got that message yesterday. I got one message from them that said that they lost. And it was like they were going to keep going. And then the next day, it's like, we're done. So it was good because they streamed local TV to station users who didn't have access to that.
Right.
Like one thing for me, I can't pick up CBS 4 in my area. It's our CBS affiliate, but it's in Miami. And I'm like, well, it's just in Miami. Why can't I pick it up? But I don't know what the problem is. It's about 55 minutes away from me, that part of Miami.
Mhm.
I should still be able to pick it up, but I can't. So it was good to be able to watch CBS via that. So they were available in 36 markets, and they were growing. And they actually, those 36 markets, that's almost half of the U.S. population that they reached. So if you don't remember, back in the day, there was a similar service called Aereo, and they were also seeking to stream to local TV users, but with a twist. Aereo was for profit, but Lowcast presented itself as a nonprofit that offered its services for free. So here's the thing: it violated Copyright Act, according to the court. So under Section 111A5 of the Copyright Act, nonprofit organizations are allowed to operate secondary transmission services, and Lowcast actually was using this as the crux of their argument. However, as I said, Lowcast also allowed users to donate $5 per month to help keep it running, and they interrupted programming every 15 minutes to run those ads asking for donations.
Wow.
So those interruptions form the basis of the broadcaster's argument. So because you can't, and we were talking about this earlier in Divas' room, you cannot preempt or interrupt broadcast services for your own thing. You know, that's contrary to what happened. So just on Tuesday, the federal judge in New York looked at the way that Lowcast was raising their funds and where the money went, and the judge ruled that the fundraising could only be used to defray costs of operating the service, not expanding to new markets.
Oh, okay. This is going to be interesting for PBS. Go ahead.
Well, and I brought this up this morning. I said that PBS has been doing this for donkey's years, but here's the thing. What they don't do, first of all, PBS is quasi-governmental. So they are not a government agency, but they do receive some government funding.
Yeah.
Right. And they do, every 5 minutes they're doing a pledge drive. If you appreciate the programming on this channel, please consider giving a membership level of $100 where you will receive a PBS mug. We all know it. We all know what they've been doing. So I said, well, PBS has been doing this for donkey's years. What they are not doing is repurposing or retransmitting broadcast signals and broadcast programming. So that's where this, comes in.
Where the line is. Okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm like, well, why were they so quick to shut down? I understand there are costs that come with this, but I'm like, well, why wouldn't you go to a model like PBS? If you're really interested in bringing and democratizing broadcast TV for Americans that can't get it, why not then go to a model like what PBS has, where it is periodically, even if you say every month you're doing some kind of pledge drive, and it doesn't have to be an all in your face where you're interrupting programming. It could be, NPR does this all the time. They do pledge drives during their, the sponsorship parts of it, or look at seeing what you could do to. Now the sponsor thing would be iffy, but I think there were other ways to keep it going. They chose not to. I think it's a loss for those people who were using Lowcast.
And we have a comment here from Mark Ward. He says, I loved Lowcast. This was a big hit. It screwed up my cut the cord streaming combos. And then he continues and says, and when you donated the $5 a month, which I was happy to do, there were no interruptions to programming.
Correct. So if you donated $5, you did not have interruptions. However, if you did not, then every 15 minutes you were interrupted with
hi.
Lowcast.
I was like, and they cut in right at the wrong, right in the middle of a scene, and you're like, and then when they came back, you had to go scroll to whatever channel you were watching. You couldn't just come right back in where they interrupted.
Right, and see, I think that's another thing, because that was annoying and not that I would have minded donating $5 or whatever, but if you're not doing it, that is like it's annoying to have to deal with that, where it's like, okay, now I have to go find the channel again and log in, but that almost is like a tactic. In a sense, it feels like, to get you to pay the $5,
right?
So you don't have to deal with the aggravation, and you can't do that. If you really truly want to give people something for free, then come back after it so that you don't have to do that. Don't make it so impossible that, damn it, I'll just pay the $5. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing it as a service, do it as a service. That said, it's unfortunate, because that was really great. There are some other streaming channels that do local programming. There's like Local Now, there's View It, there's a couple of others, but none of them were as intensive in terms of the amount of channels, like all the channels in your area, like Lowcast is. So that's quite a bit. That's a loss.
Right.
Okay. Off of Lowcast onto The Talk, which is on broadcast TV. Now, it feels like The Talk is really shifting gears gender-wise. Remember, I talked about last time that Jerry O'Connell is going to join The Talk as one of the hosts.
Okay.
Yes, so this was a few months back when they decided, after, all the Wahala with Susan, what's her name?
I have no idea.
She Osborne.
Oh, Sharon Osbourne.
Whatever her name is, Sharon Osbourne. Yeah. So all the Wahala with that, and her leaving, and they're trying to figure out who the replacement is going to be. Well, they brought on Jerry O'Connell, and now they are bringing on another man. So more testosterone enters the building. Yes, Akbar Bajiamila. I know it's GBA, so I know how to pronounce that because he's Nigerian, but I don't know the whole rest of the name. So I think it's Bajiamila. Thank you so much for forgiving me for that. If you don't remember who he is, he's a former NFL player, but he currently is the host of NBC's American Ninja Warrior and American Ninja Warrior Jr. He is joining the cast of The Talk, or the hosts on The Talk. He's actually been on there several times as a guest co-host, just like Gary O'Connell was. And this is what is being said, says Heather Gray, who is the executive producer and showrunner for The Talk. It's a new day and daytime for season 12 of The Talk, and we are thrilled to welcome Akbar to the family. His engaging personality, openness, and quick wit really impressed us when he appeared as a guest co-host last season. Akbar's candor and humor come with ease and are great additions to the conversation. So I think this is going to really signify a shift in direction for The Talk. It was and I'm sure it's still going to be largely women who watch, but it was very female centric before.
Yeah.
I see changing so much, but this addition of two men is really going to change the dynamic, and I think it's time, for that, to be honest. So, congrats to you, Mr. Akbar.
We have a comment here from Mark.
Yeah,
He said the talk is the worst, so any change they make cannot make it any worse. It is so tightly scripted and stilted.
You've never lied, Mark. I don't. To be honest, I am not a fan of any of these daytime talk shows. There was a time when I would watch Wendy Williams, but she has a lot going on, and that spills over to the daytime, and I'm not into a lot of problems. I came to watch this. Also, the Real was okay, and then whenever you have these changes in cast or changes in hosts, let's call them, you start to notice a change in dynamic. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. But I think we have enough daytime talk shows, because my thing is, like, I'm watching them and I sit to think, you get excited at first. I remember very well when the Real came out. I was at NATP, National Association of Television Program Executives Conference, and that's where, like I told you all before, that's where shows are bought and sold and where new shows debut. So the elevator it's always held at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, one of my favorite hotels. I even bought fragrance from my house that smells like their lobby. It's just amazing, and it always gets that nostalgia. So actually they had the elevators wrapped, and it was the Real, that coming soon, the Real, that type of thing. So it was a big deal when it came out. And you have the elevators wrapped at this television conference with your show. Nobody else has that. It was a big deal. It was the beginning of looking at the fact that, diverse people do want to see themselves on television, even though I don't know. But so that was a really big deal. But I think we've had our saturation. We are at the saturation point with these daytime talk shows. So any change is a welcome change.
Yep. I think too, the fact that we've been sequestered for so long that that it's just not entertaining anymore. There's nothing really happening out there. No award shows and different things. The topics are limited.
Okay.
People ain't moving about the planet.
Here they are. They can't drive. Anyway, Mark says, bring back more soaps. Not as many kids today will have the benefit of their grandmothers or mothers watching their stories.
I never was one that liked soap operas anyway.
I am not the one. I don't drag a story out for me. I need to know. Just get to it. That's why I love binge watching.
Just get to the point.
Me too. I love binge watching. Binge watching is it.
It is.
And I think that's why when they do the
drip.
No, not the drip. Why the talk shows are probably not going to work, because they make you sit down at a certain time in the day to watch it. They didn't put it on YouTube, which let people go over there and subscribe and watch it at their leisure. You had to come in here and watch it at this time, at this date, blah 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 blah. And we're like, nah, we don't need to do that anymore.
And plus, there's nothing that interesting on there that
exactly. It's not covered somewhere else.
Exactly, and they all follow the same thing. All right, you all are able to get maybe a couple of celebrity guests on, great. And there's nothing that you are saying that is that hitting that I can't watch you for something else for. Also, they've all taken on this thing of having these sponsored things, these sponsored segments where, that you have the person. Now we're going to have our style specialist such and such. What do you have for us today? Well, these are made by such and such at the bottom of the sea of the Caspian Sea, and they have the greatest feel ever. How much are they? Well, they're usually $100, but for Wendy viewers, you get it for $29.99. They've all taken on that.
They have.
Oh, so it's a commercial, infomercial.
It's a partnership because they get a they announce that they will get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, but it's an infomercial, so I'm not, and then you want me to tune in at a particular time to watch an infomercial. How about no?
And then I got to aim my phone at the TV, go to the site, and buy it.
Exactly. And then they all have these cooking segments. Then they mirror each other. There's nothing particularly
unique,
great about them. On their own, I'm sure they're fine. But because Hollywood is copycatism. If one does it, it's going to work well for us as well. If I see it, but that's as stupid as seeing somebody makes $1 million selling floatable widgets, and you think you can do the same thing. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But can you come up with something different to these floatable widgets so that it's not exactly the same? Otherwise, why would I buy you? Hence, why would I watch you if it's going to be, the same old, same old? So these panel shows with 4 or 5 people on it, it's enough. That's enough. Let's move on and talk about Vice. Now, remember, I talked about the fact that Vice had been letting some staff go from Vice and also one of their properties, Refinery 29. Well, Vice has raised $135 million in funding from the James Murdoch firm and also existing investors. And this is because they're trying to go public. So apparently their dreams of going public are going to be on hold for the time being. Because what they did is they chose to raise that $135 million from their existing investors, including James Murdoch's Lupa Systems, TPG, and TVC, as well as Sixth Street and Antenna Group. So this cash infusion is going to be, according to the Hollywood Reporter, used to, quote, fund its growth initiatives, including expanding Vice's direct-to-consumer offerings, content licensing opportunities, commercial and experiential expansion, and research and development. So, yeah, this is what they are saying. So instead of going public, they're putting those on hold, and they are going to go ahead and they raised this $135 million. Now, does that mean they're going to hire some of these people back from there? Not necessarily. Because if they did that, that means there's already some arrears going on. But this is interesting. Moving on. The TV Academy, the Television Academy, who I was a fellow for, by the way, launches the Science and Technology Peer Group. Now, this is going to be a new group within the Television Academy. Now, they give the Emmys. This is the entity that does the Emmys. They're going to explore new areas, including virtual production and cloud collaboration. It's about damn time, TV. I mean, you're just now thinking about this? Anyway, so it's a peer group. I'm sorry, we're going to say something?
No, continue.
Okay. And this is actually founded and co-chaired by industry vets Barry Siegel and Wendy Aylesworth. And this new peer group is going to provide a membership base for engineers, scientists, and technologists who create the systems and devices that enable the storytelling we see on television and the transmission capabilities of television. You know, we always think about TV and media from the viewing experience part of it, from the end user part of it. But we don't realize in order to see that, there's an awful lot of technology that has to be in place, right? So this is what this is aimed at, this technology, science and technology peer group. And Siegel says this: in 1949, at the first Emmy ceremony, the Academy recognized not only the arts, but also the sciences of television with a special award for outstanding achievement in engineering development. Recent production technologies, including virtual production, cloud collaboration, and immersive audio, hearing this, immersive audio, furthered this honored tradition and prompt the timely formation of this new peer group. So this is good because it's like really now putting the emphasis on the science part of it, because science and technology is intricately involved in the media industry. So this will be interesting. I'll be interested to see what comes out of this. YouTube has surpassed 15 million subscribers.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yes.
Are
YouTube
you one?
So good for you, YouTube Music. So YouTube, but this is both their free and paid music streaming service that has surpassed 50 million subscribers, according to Leor Cohen, the global head of music at YouTube. So this number represents roughly 15 million increase in subscribers compared to last October. Okay, are we kind of surprised? Not really, because we've all been sequestered for a while. So we're going to see these types of pushes in terms of numbers, right? So a representative for YouTube declined to share how many of the 50 million subscribers were on free trials. Of course you do. But Cohen said that YouTube Music was seeing impressive growth in Korea, India, Japan, Russia, and Brazil. So 50 million subscribers, both free and paid. And there's one more story that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of a wait a minute. Oh, wait, one more after this. If you are into fashion like I am, you may be, and some of you have Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is actually planning a French series on fashion icon Karl Lagerfeld. And if you don't know who Karl Lagerfeld is, before he passed away, he was the head of the House of Chanel.
Ooh.
Yes, the creative director of the House of Chanel from 1983 until he passed away in 2019. So, it wasn't just 2 years ago that he passed away. So Karl Lagerfeld is German, of course, and it's going to be covering, it's a series about the life and career of Karl Lagerfeld. I'm kind of excited about that because, I'm a fashion file. So anything to do with that is a big deal. Now, there's one last story that I'd like to talk about, and this is kind of a story that crosses over into social media and society. So it's kind of in Terry's category, and Terry, I think you heard me talk about this on Wednesday. It was, what the hell is this story? So there was a couple who got married, and you may have heard about this, and they got married in Jamaica at a resort. They had they had invited 109 people to come. Only 101 showed up. So they decided, since they were paying $120 per person for this, that to the people who did not show up, that they were going to send them a bill for $120.
Really?
Now, it wasn't just that they sent a bill for $120. They also had the real black audacity to post it on Facebook as well. So in the Facebook post, they basically said, don't be surprised if you get one of these. This couple is from Chicago. I would love to know what you think about this. This is, this is really a commentary on social media and society. Please, sound off.
Oh my God. So let me make sure I have this information right. They had 101 show up out of 109.
Yes.
And so 8 people didn't show up, but 8 people got a bill.
Which is about $900 collectively.
And you put it on Facebook that you are that trifling and that cheap.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And my question is, can they still live in Chicago with all of their friends coming by, throwing eggs at their door? I don't know.
Didn't the groom say he wasn't gonna send it? He was just posting it. He wasn't really gonna send it.
He lied.
He said that. He said that this was just really for the exercise of. But I suspect they really did intend to send them. But after the response, that they probably did not. But the point is that you even fixed your face and your hands to type this out. They created it. So their names are Doug and Deidre Simmons.
Yeah, you do need to be called out.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, if you really weren't going to, they were going to send it. I don't want to hear otherwise, because this was a big deal for you.
You might as well have sent it. You outed people. You know,
Listen, aren't they on their honeymoon, or weren't they on their honeymoon? What? Who got time for this?
You shouldn't have been talking about. Oh my gosh!
You just got married. Enjoy that. Why are you sitting down being petty, making some stupid? Oh, I wasn't going to send it. Well, go about your merry way. Like Fran said, it was 101 out of 109. Be glad.
Married in Chicago, so people could afford to come. But that's
instead, and nobody asked you to do no destination wedding.
Okay, ask them to play for plane fare and a place at the table. Give me a break. Okay.
Listen, my sister got married this year. She talking about some destiny. I was like, if you don't have that thing here in New York, don't count me in.
That's what I'm talking about. See,
pandemic. I'm not going to destination wedding. I was like, if you don't have that thing in our church here, we're scary.
I might check it out on YouTube, but I don't think so.
Go ahead,
no.
That's the thing. To Mr. and Mrs. Petty Crocker, there was no need to, even if you felt this way, there was no need to post it on social media. And this is what we talk about when we say you don't have to post everything. And
thank you.
You need to expect that there is going to be blowback from it, and you need to anticipate the onslaught. So you can't be all upset and in your feelings and offended when people say what they really feel about it. I said this on Wednesday too. A lot of us have had events. You have to anticipate that there's going to be a cost that you eat when you have an event where you're inviting people and you're having it outside at a venue somewhere. I had my graduation party for my PhD at the Watergate Hotel, which was damn near wedding price. I knew that there were going to be some people who last minute couldn't show up or whatever. Was I going to send them a bill? No, you eat the cost because you know that's the risk you take when you have an event of that type. That's a risk for not even just weddings. That's anybody having an event. Whenever all these people have these seminars and conferences at a hotel, they're expecting X, Y, Z and expecting to sell this amount of tickets and get this amount of food, but it doesn't always happen. And you have to eat the cost. This is what happened. They didn't have this money in the first place to have this highfalutin destination wedding in San Tropez or wherever the hell they were, right? It was Jamaica, but I'm being facetious. Yeah. So they didn't have that money to have it in Monaco, in the Royal Palace. So they wanted it anyway. You know how couples can get and be selfish. Well, I want what I want. Good. Don't make what you want become my problem. So
exactly.
So all right, we're going to squeeze blood from the stone. Let's charge everybody who didn't come.
No.
Is that $120 worth more than the friendship? Now you invited
exactly.
You care for them some way. So you just told me I don't mean a damn thing.
So, but what about this idea? Okay, you want the destination wedding. You and your immediate family, whoever has the price, go, and then when you come back, have a big party, and then the people that couldn't come, they can come and share in your life event.
Because I have to show off my dress, my tux, the fact that we're in Jamaica, that we're at this highfalutin hotel. It's to show that this is something that you can do and afford. And my thing is, people with a good sense of self don't have to show the world that they can afford this. And after all, it's about you and your spouse.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. You and your family and whoever else can participate in the destination wedding. You guys go to Aruba, wherever, and then when you come back, you throw and guess what? You get more gifts because the people that couldn't get to the event, when you go back and you have it at the Waldorf Astoria, wherever you have it at, and you do how many guests, they're all gonna come with a gift. Have two parties. I don't understand. And Dr. Taji is right. Why do you want to flaunt? Oh, well, we're going to Aruba. We're going here. Good
I'm
for
so
you. Good for you.
Really good for you.
Good for you. Keep it moving.
The husband, Doug, was the one who posted it on his Facebook. So my thing is like, wow. So he posted it, and this is the thing. According to the New York Post, I think he said we were really good, but apparently a copy of the bill was sent to him.
Yeah.
So, well, they're not your friends anymore. So I hope.
How do we know? How do we know and see the bill? Oh, he's like, oh, I was joking. I wasn't gonna post it. You sent it to somebody.
You sent it to somebody.
wow.
You sent it to someone. So the thing is, the moral of the story is, even if you are Petty Crocker like this, you don't have to let us know on social media. It is unnecessary, and this is the thing about like we've been saying, social media etiquette. Using discernment in terms of what should actually.
Well, he wanted it and he got it.
Wow. That was a good one, Taji.
And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you, everybody. This has been an insightful conversation. Carolina always starts it off and starting stuff. She didn't have real big bombs today, but she did start it off. And TJ and everything social media, and then Tachi wrapping it up with media. Thank you so much.
Mr. Petty. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dr. Tachi, I wanted to say to you that Amazon is doing something with Gucci, the Gucci murder story.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh.
The House of Gucci on Amazon is coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to check that out. There's true crime is a big genre, so there was a lot of interest after the mini series with Versace.
Mm-hmm.
After that happened, there started to be a lot of interest in that type of true crime story. So not surprised, but I'm gonna check into it.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, I was watching, Chanel and all of that for the fashion, but
Mm-hmm.
I do like murder mysteries too, but this wasn't a mystery since we know who did it. But the leading up to the why she did it is probably the same. Mm-hmm. So this has been this week in tech. This week in Tech Life Weekly with the Tech Divas and the Tech Dudes and everyone who joined us live and on the replay. Thank you so much. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us. We don't take that lightly, and we just want to say thank you. You can follow us all week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Follow Dr. Tachi, follow TJ, follow one another here. For all of you in the clubhouse, we got Cheryl and Caroline. Follow one another. And, we come back here. We're going to keep bringing you tech. I got to go play with, I was going to say LinkedIn, but probably am not. But we are definitely going to take a look at what's happening with Twitter and the very things that TJ and everybody brought to light. Take it, whatever you need from it, and we will see you again next week. TJ will be here Tuesday. Dr. Tachi will be out on Media Scope on Wednesday, and then BizChicks will be here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. And you can always watch the replay. So with that, we want to say thank you.
And don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.